This is the story of why the Great Movie Ride should have never closed, and why, even though its replacement is a great attraction, it deserved a home somewhere else. To understand the Great Movie Ride, we have to rewind to the 1980s. Disney's Imagineers were working on a brand new park that would serve as a love letter to the film industry, both as a celebration and a functioning studio. At the heart of all of it was an idea for an e-ticket attraction housed inside a stunning replica of Hollywood's iconic Chinese theater. Inside, guests would embark on a slow-moving journey through elaborate sets recreating some of cinema's greatest moments. From the glitz and glamour of Singing in the Rain to the thrills of Indiana Jones and even the chilling suspense of Alien. But this wasn't just a ride, it was a masterclass in practical effects, animatronics, and immersive storytelling. It gave Hollywood Studios, then called Disney's MGM Studios, its soul. Now, what made this ride so special? This was one of the last great Disney attractions to blend live actors and animatronics into one seamless experience. So the Great Movie Ride wasn't just a passive journey, it was an interactive theater on rails. Guests didn't just ride through the movies, they were literally a part of the show. And depending on your ride, you might get caught in the middle of a gangster shootout in the 1930s or a Wild West train robbery. Then came the goosebump-inducing finale, the montage film at the end, showcasing clips from over 100 beloved movies. For many guests, that final reel really felt like Disney saying, movies are magic, and you're a part of the magic too. But in July of 2017, Disney shocked fans by announcing the Great Movie Ride would close to make way for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Now, the idea of a ride starring Mickey himself sounded exciting, but here's the problem. The Great Movie Ride wasn't just another attraction, it was a huge anchor in the park. Removing it felt like tearing out the very DNA of Hollywood Studios. Officially, Disney's reasoning for closing the ride came down to two things: expiring licensing agreements and the new idea that they had for the park. The ride relied heavily on scenes from films owned by other studios, MGM, Warner Brothers, Fox, and more. So when the original licensing deals were nearing their end, Disney faced a choice: negotiate expensive contracts for a ride that was already showing signs of age, or use the opportunity to build something new that leaned entirely on Disney-owned characters. At the same time, Disney was shifting Hollywood Studios away from being a behind-the-scenes look at filmmaking and towards immersive lands based on blockbuster films like Star Wars and Toy Story. In that vision, a classic Hollywood tribute didn't quite fit in the new branding. So while fans saw the Great Movie Ride as timeless, Disney saw an attraction that needed major investment to remain relevant, and one that didn't really align with their IP-first strategy. Unfortunately, that combination made it an easy target for closure. The problem with this decision, the Great Movie Ride was more than a crowd pleaser. It was a mission statement for Hollywood Studios. The park wasn't originally about stacking up thrill rides or chasing the hottest IP. It was about immersing guests in the art and crafts of cinema. I mean, the second you walked into the Chinese theater, it was an amazing cue. Every set piece, every animatronic, every line of the script reinforced that message. By removing the Great Movie Ride, Disney didn't just swap out an attraction. They changed the park's personality. The studio shifted from come learn and celebrate Hollywood to come ride our newest IP rides. And here's why that's a problem: the loss of diversity in experiences. So Hollywood Studios now leans heavily toward thrill rides and action-oriented IP lands. Without the Great Movie Ride, there's one less slow-paced, high-capacity attraction for families, older guests, and just movie lovers. And the park's thematic center just collapsed. The Chinese theater used to be the park's icon and the home of the most thematically relevant ride. Now it's home to something completely different. Fun, yes, but not tied to filmmaking heritage. And its legacy value was just ignored. Disney has kept many rides for decades because they anchor a park's identity. Think Haunted Mansion, Jungle Cruise, Spaceship Earth. The Great Movie Ride deserves that same respect. And perhaps most importantly, the studios already had room to expand. The decision wasn't made because they had to replace the Great Movie Ride. It was because they chose to, believing that IP presence outweighed park history. Now, it's one thing to update a ride. It's another to replace the beating heart of your park with something that, while good, shifts the park's DNA entirely. That's why this decision just really stings to so many Disney fans. And I understand that a park has to evolve. These IP lands have been doing very well for the park. I just think an attraction like the Great Movie Ride should have also evolved with the IP lands and the new rides, instead of being scrapped and basically forgotten. This ride was a perfect base for a park that you could build around, and I really do think this is a mistake. Instead, it really just needed a refresh. Disney has proven time and time again that classic rides can be updated for new generations without losing their heart. For instance, Pirates of the Caribbean has added new effects and characters like Jack Sparrow. Haunted Mansion got upgraded illusions, Spaceship Earth has seen multiple script changes and animatronic improvements over the years. It seems so simple, but I really think the same could have been done here. Imagine modern animatronics replacing the aging figures, lifelike movements, facial expressions, even projection mapping for realism. Maybe some updated movie scenes, swapping out a couple of the less recognizable films for modern classics while keeping the most iconic moments. I think the movies like Indiana Jones and Alien were absolutely perfect for the ride. And I know they're iconic, but the movies like Tarzan and the Wizard of Oz probably needed to go and be replaced by a more popular and recognizable film for the newer generations. Maybe some movies like Forrest Gump, Titanic, and maybe Jurassic Park. But actually, I think Universal has all the rights to Jurassic Park. But still, that would be awesome if they had somehow made that work. But you get the idea. This ride should have just evolved instead of being completely rethemed. They could have also had a revamped final montage with high-definition clips spanning from the golden age of Hollywood to the latest blockbusters. Like, imagine in that montage you just see Iron Man snapping his fingers in Endgame.
Iron Man.
That's all it needed, some more newer iconic scenes like that, just to be added to it. It would have been preserved the attraction's identity while making it relevant for the new audience. Instead of losing the ride completely, we could have just got a version that felt timeless, honoring the past while also embracing the future. Unfortunately, Disney chose to start from scratch, and in the process, erased a huge piece of the park's soul. Now let's be real. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is a great attraction. It's fun, creative, chaotic in the best way, and has really impressive technology. The use of trackless ride vehicles creates smooth transitions between scenes. The projection mapping is top tier, and the ride oozes charm. And as new as this ride is, it's also historic. It's the first time that Mickey Mouse himself has headlined a major ride in a Disney park. That alone makes it very significant. So the problem isn't Runaway Railway as a ride. The problem is Runaway Railway in this location. If you were going to bring this ride to Hollywood Studios, which I don't mind, instead, if there was enough room for this, the launch bay should have been replaced with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Or imagine if Disney had placed it in Magic Kingdom's Fantasyland. It just sucks that their Toontown is gone because that would be a perfect spot for it, even though I'm not a huge fan of Toontown, so I think Fantasyland would have been a good option. Because if it wasn't Fantasyland, it would be a must-ride centerpiece for that space. It fits perfectly with Mickey's whimsical cartoon energy. Instead, at Hollywood Studios, it takes over a building designed as a shrine to classic cinema, a visual icon meant to honor Hollywood history. The cartoon aesthetic just doesn't really fit inside this building. I genuinely think that both rides could have coexisted. You could have had the modern cutting-edge technology of Runaway Railway while still keeping the classic great movie ride. So yes, Runaway Railway is fantastic. It just feels like it's standing in the wrong spotlight. To this day, this decision just doesn't really make any sense. So why did this closure feel so wrong? Because at the core of it, the Great Movie Ride represented something unique that Runaway Railway, as great as it is, simply does not replace. Think about it this way. Disney talks all the time about balance in its parks. I mean, they have all kinds of attractions, roller coasters, dark rides, shows. Disney World literally has it all. It was a perfect balance, and it wasn't just another ride, it was literally the centerpiece of Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios was built as a tribute to cinema. By scrapping its signature attraction, the park lost its clearest connection to that mission. Imagine if Epcot decided to remove Spaceship Earth. That's the kind of loss that we're talking about here. But with Runaway Railway, will people in 30 years look at it as a defining Disney attraction the way they did with the Great Movie Ride? Honestly, I don't think it will, but only time will tell. The ride celebrated a century of film history. It wasn't tied to trends or a single franchise. It had timelessness on its side. I just really wish we lived in a world that both rides could have coexisted, but here we are. Now, could a ride like the Great Movie Ride ever return? Realistically, if it was just like this version, absolutely not. But in an ideal world, Disney could bring it back in a reimagined form with updated animatronics, modern projection tech, and a refreshed lineup of iconic movies. Whether in Hollywood Studios or even a brand new park someday, there's still room for an attraction similar to this. In the end, the Great Movie Ride wasn't just about watching movie magic. It was movie magic. It celebrated film in a way that no other theme park ride ever has. And Runaway Railway, like I've said, is great, but the Great Movie Ride was just irreplaceable. And that's why it just shouldn't have closed. If you have memories of the Great Movie Ride, share them in the comments. And if you've ridden Runaway Railway, let me know if you think it should have gone somewhere else. And don't forget to like and subscribe because we have so much more Disney content coming your way.